Hi, everybody. Welcome to the teacher feature of the International Herb Symposium. And I'm really excited to be here in conversation with Kristine Brown, who is going to do a intensive class on botanical illustration. And she's been a homeschool mom and teaching herbalism to kids. She's a published author. She has this amazing herbal root zine educational program that she'll talk about more. And we've we've been collaborating for a long time. She does these amazing at-risk enamel pins that she designed and brought to life that we have sold um, and has also done programs on teaching about many of the plants on the UPS at-risk list. And I'm just super excited that she's going to come and not only do this intensive, but also be set up in the Emporium, sharing her different publications and talking about sort of the joys of teaching kids about herbs. So welcome.
Thanks. It's great to be here.
So yeah, so you want to talk a little bit about um first we'll just dive into maybe you can just explain what your method is to teaching about how you go about teaching the art of botanical illustration.
Definitely, yeah. So I like to look at botanical illustration as a key to learning to identify plants, which, as herbalists, if we're going out in the field, that's definitely something we need to do. So I incorporate the drawing in with some other sensory um, exercises where we're really learning to really look at a plant and learn how to see all these little nuances on it. So I start off with the drawing, and the biggest hurdle is people are like, well, I can't draw. And my argument is, yes, you can. It's a skill to be learned, because a lot of people see it as a creative artistic outlet that they have to have talent to and be creative, but it's just a skill of training your brain, just like riding a bicycle. So I do what a lot of teachers in, elementary, high school, and college levels that teach beginner drawing. I teach drawing in a manner of using blind contours and modified contours. And I got a little example here. So like here's the plant that I've pressed. But so I have like the blind drawing here and then the modified here. And so basically it's just a method of working with your brain and your hand, putting them together to create the drawings. And so I go through all those exercises and teach people how to draw first. And then from there, we start doing the sensory exploration and looking at the plant so we can see how easy it is to misidentify something if you're not paying attention to the most smallest details. So I feel like even like a half day class is never long enough. I could probably go 8 hours and we still would run out of time, because it's so much fun and everybody always enjoys it, and they walk away feeling empowered that they can definitely draw, and they can have beautiful drawings too. And it's not going to look like, a small child is learning how to draw. They can do really well. One of my favorite stories is when I taught this at Montana Herb Gathering back in 2017, 2018, around there somewhere. Um, there was a woman who was probably in her 60s or 70s, and she was told when she was a young kid she couldn't draw and she should never try again. So her whole life she went going through thinking she couldn't draw. And after she drew this picture of I think we were doing daisies or something, she burst into tears because it was a beautiful drawing. And she's like, oh my gosh, all this time I've been lied to. And so that's what I like to see is, I mean, I don't like to see people suffering, but I like to see people realize, yes, I can draw and it's never too late to start. So that's my goal, is to teach that and to also help to use that as a tool to go out and identify the plants.
Awesome. And yeah, I think you should really talk a little bit about how herbal root zine came about and what resources you have. how people can plug in if they're interested, if they're a homeschool mom or a preschool teacher and they want to just bring herbal knowledge into the classroom or, into the forest. I think as parents, we're always looking for, good resources that we can trust and, um, sort of create, creative moments with our kids.
Definitely. Yeah. So Herbal Root Scene was born back in 2009. And it was based on, so I have four kids, and two of them, the youngest two, I was homeschooling, and they were becoming of age. And I was looking around, kind of putting together curriculum. And I really wanted herbalism to be a part of our lives. And I wanted a fun way to teach it. And I'm looking around at the resources back then. There was hardly anything available. There was like Leslie Tierra's A Kid's Herb Book, which is a great resource, and a few other ones like Shanleia's, not Shanleia's Quest, oh, The Herbalist of Yarrow. And, so some really nice books and things to start with, but there wasn't a whole lot. And so I started creating it for my own use with my own kids. And I've had like crossword puzzles and coloring pages and mazes, all sorts of fun things to do while teaching the medicinal uses of the plants. And this is like before social media is what it is now. And so it was like blogging was the thing. And so we had like, we would write things and post pictures and stuff. And so I was in like a homeschooling blogging community, and I was like, oh, I'm creating for this for my kids. And I had like such an overwhelming response through my community that they were interested in doing it for their kids too, that yeah, I started selling it on Etsy and quickly realized I needed to get my own website because people really loved it. And I need a little more control than Etsy allowed at that time, where you could only post so many at a time, that it would sell out and then I'd have to go post more. And so, so yeah, it just kind of blossomed from there. And I wrote it for 11 years straight. So every month I was publishing a new issue of it. And it's basically each issue is just focuses on one herb, so you can teach through one herb at a time. And I kind of like envision like a Ranger Rick style magazine or highlight style magazine, because when I was a kid I used to get those in the mail and I loved it, but I never did get it to become a published paper copy, which someday I still hope to do that. But it just digital seemed to be, at the time, that seemed to be the best way to go. So but yeah, so I did that for 11 years straight. I write songs and stories about the herb and stuff. And after 11 years and 131 issues, I was tired and I needed a break. So I was like, okay, I'm going to put that on hold from writing new issues. But then I wanted to do some courses and things. So I started creating some courses. I have some year-long courses for herbalism that parents can join with their kids, or homeschool groups can do. And then my biggest dream was to do like a membership program. And so um, around a little bit, I guess 2021 or so is when I started the membership program. And basically, it takes each issue, the herb, and I expand on that, and I created a full curriculum with it. So I have from preschool age all the way through high school, I have 4 expanded curriculum broken down by age group. And it gives parents and teachers like a monthly curriculum overview, and then it breaks it down by the week, and then it breaks each week down by the day, so they could go through and just check off day by day and do the programming if they wanted to, if they didn't feel confident of creating their own curriculum. So I really tried to make it easy for parents and for homeschool groups, and even like public schools could even use it if they wanted to create an herbal program in their schools. And it also has video lessons, because I'm aware, that we have all these different learning styles. We have the visual thinkers, which is me looking off, and we have the auditory who like to hear, and we have the kinesthetic, and we have the read writers. So I try to give a little bit of each in my programming. So I have video lessons that are an hour long, usually about an hour long for each herb. And I break those down into segments that are usually about 10 minutes. Or I have like a drawing class, a botany class, an identification class, um, and medicine, food and medicine uses on the plant, and then a making session, like how to make something or doing a craft or something, and also the story. So it's all broken down so the parent can choose based on their kids' needs and their kids' interests of what part they want to teach them on. And then in addition, on that membership, we also have like live sessions where the kids can come and do a live make along with me. And then with the parent session, I also have topics for them as well. So I just try to create this huge sort of melting pot of herbal learning activities that people can access at any time and use it at their own pace.
Yeah. And all of that's on your Herbal Root Zine website.
Yeah, it's herbal roots zine, which is zine, short for magazine.com.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
yeah, thanks.
Well, we're really excited to have you come to the International, and and really I think it's like it's important to kind of slow down and uh think about. I think when you take the time to try and draw a plant, right, you I have a deeper understanding of botany in itself, but I think it's, you know, the art of seeing. It's also the art of like um taking the time to be present, and then also really create, you know, maybe a deeper connection to an individual plant, right?
Mhm,
In that process. So um
definitely.
I'm excited to, you know, add this component um to the International Herb Symposium. And we have you know, some other really interesting things like lei making and hula dance. And so I definitely want to like get people to step out of their comfort zone and maybe, you know, do something other than just like the traditional class. So trying to, you know, have lots of opportunities like that. And I'm super excited you're joining us. And I guess I don't know, is there anything else you want to share about um before we end our segment?
Um, I can't really.
Have you ever been to the International Herb Symposium? You have,
Yes,
right?
I have. Yeah, I went pre-COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I went and I didn't teach that year. I just went, I vended and I just participated, and it was such a great experience, like meeting herbalists from all around the world coming in and sharing their views and stuff. That was, I think that was the highlight for me, is seeing people from other countries come and talk about how herbalism is in their country and
Yeah.
their perception of it and everything, which is amazing. And just the whole community of this of international is just, it's so, so nice and so welcoming. And then first time I taught was COVID, and so it was all online. So I had some
Mm-hmm.
classes, they were all pre-recorded videos online.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so it'll be fun to come and do it in person. And I mean, it's online's fun to teach, but being in person teaching is so great because you can really work with the people and be close and see it firsthand and walk around and be with everybody while you're
Yeah.
teaching. So,
Yeah, I you know, I mean, obviously we're going to offer some of the aspects online, and there'll be an online option because I do think it really does allow us to share this information with way more people, you know, so
definitely.
there's definitely that aspect of it. But I agree. I mean, there's nothing that really compares to being with everybody in person. And I think having those moments that are like spontaneous, you know, like maybe you'd never even heard of this person, but you ended up going to their class, and then you're just like, wow, that was the class I was meant to be at kind of
Yeah, I have
moment.
lots of those experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, awesome. Well, I will see you in Cincinnati.
Yay. See you in
Yeah.
September.